Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. And so, what kind of show is this? What do we do here? What do we got going on?
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 180, Yobiao Hoshi no Kagayaki, Haruka Tachi Sansen in Japanese, and the English translation, Calling of the Shining Stars, Enter Haruka and Michiru. And the French title, Le Clé d'étoiles qui appellent Haruka et Michiru au combat. The shard of stars that are called Haruka and Michiru in combat.
Ooh,
yeah.
The shard of stars. Étoile.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Get the little extra in there. A couple more francs in their paycheck.
That's
there.
right.
Or I guess euros now.
You get a little dessert for
your
effort.
For you. A little bit for you. How empty would the titles of this season be without the word star? That's what I want to know.
Probably pretty empty.
Hearing a lot of Hoshi.
Yes.
People have not been hearing a lot from us.
No.
And we won't belabor things too much. But yeah, everything's fine now. Everything's fixed. We're sorry that it took so long. We plan to hopefully go forward. This is where the disaster comes in, right?
Oh gosh!
But without any pauses, until the end of the run, and then we'll talk about at the end of the run, I guess, what the future plans are. But yeah, sorry about all the delays and everything, but we're here.
Yeah, we're here now
in the studio, and everything's great. No regrets. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, none for me either.
Something else that we don't have any of is comments. So, I don't know if we've talked on this show, but people maybe know or they don't know how courageous the company Sonos is to have done that horrible redesign of their app that's ruined everyone's lives, that just want to listen to the Doobie Brothers when they're making dinner, and now you can't do that. And that's the kind of courage that it takes. Well, Spotify, they see that kind of courage and they say, hold my digital beer, because they're always changing things and always making it very tough for both listeners and publishers to connect with each other. And so the latest thing is that they were supposed to have turned their Q&As, into comments.
Sure.
On Spotify, on your app or on your computer. And that is the theory. That's what's supposed to have happened. And in fact, I think all of our old Q&As have been converted to comments. But on our last episode 179, Friend or Foe, Starlights, and the Sailor Guardians, there are no comments. I can't even see where comments should go. And so I put a poll up on the episode. I had time because we were not on last week, asking people, can you see comments for this episode? And I got 3 votes for yes and 1 for no. If they were all yes or they were all no, that would tell us something. But now, the yeses came in before the no. So I am just going to assume that Spotify is still working on this.
Working the kinks out.
I'm gonna email them. If they get back to me, I guess, or look around on the internet, or I don't know, if you work for Spotify and you're a listener, let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, listeners, keep checking back. We want to hear your comments of what you thought about this episode. Look on your app or look on PC if you get a chance. And if you see a chance to make a comment, go for it. But otherwise, there will be no comments for episode 179.
Wow. Okay.
That's a shame.
That is a shame.
That was a strong episode.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great? But, we still want to hear what people think about it.
Absolutely.
So look to that in the future, and we'll be looking for your comments on Spotify.
Would you like to tell us, Cal, what happens in today's episode?
I can do that, and it feels good to be back in the driver's seat, passenger seat. This is like a car with 2 wheels.
I think it has 2 wheels.
Or I at least have a chicken brake. You're at the wheel, but I've got the extra, the driver's instructor brake. Let's talk about what happens in the episode. We open on a very 90s site, a bank of payphones.
Yes.
If you know, you know. 90s kids remember. And our girls, the squad, appear, and each one stands in front of their own payphone. Maybe they're going to dial down the center. They're making collect calls.
I pity the fool who don't use 1-800-COLLECT.
90s kids remember.
That's right.
Each girl puts their color-coded calling cards in the phones. Calling cards.
Yes.
90s kids remember. And they each dial a number, the same number, but they all get busy signals, which that's how it works. Remember?
Yeah,
You're going to jam up the line. Maybe it's like a trunk line or something like that, you know. I don't know what they're trying to call, but if 5 people try to call everybody at once, only one person's going to get through, right?
Yeah.
They should stagger it. Come on, girls. You ever won a radio contest before? But they get busy signals. They dial again. They dial a third time, and they slam the receivers down in frustration. Slamming a phone down. Try that with an iPhone 15.
Yeah, right.
90s kids. Angry 90s kids, remember. They try one more time, and this time, Minako gets through. And all the girls crowd around her as a recorded voice tells her,
"We're sorry.
All the tickets to the fantastic International Music Fest are sold out." Calling for tickets.
Yes.
Only 90s kids remember. Also, those tickets are probably $15, not $1,500.
Yeah, probably not.
Ah, the 90s. I love the 90s.
I love the 90s
Somebody
too.
should make a show about that.
Yeah, right.
At this point, actually, now they need to do a I love the show.
You're right.
Right?
Yes.
I love the decades show.
Yes.
Because that was a while ago too.
It was now.
Plus, there's less to love. Anything after the year 2000, it's like, what do we love? Sorry to invalidate Zoomer's entire existence. I'm sure you had great moments. Minako is paralyzed with rage at this as the girls lament that they won't be able to get tickets to see Three Lights at the festival. Girls, you know these guys.
I know.
You've spent the last 5 episodes hanging out with them.
Yes.
I think you're at backstage pass level by now.
Probably.
You know, just hike up your skirts, get out the tube tops.
My God.
This is within reach.
That is true.
Minako, no, don't say that. Minako says...
Not the hiking up the skirts part, but it is within reach.
Well, they're 16 now, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's no birthday episodes anymore, but it's been at least... Look, I know they repeated a year, but it's been 3 years since she was 14, right?
I suppose.
So anyway, Minako says, and I quote, "No, no, 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 no!" Just then, Haruka and Michiru arrive. And I was thinking, the second I saw her in that denim jacket with the sleeves cut off...
Yes.
You know who might be good casting for Haruka in a live action situation?
Who?
Emma Corrin.
Who's Emma Corrin?
The actor that played Diana on The Crown, the first Diana.
Oh, okay, yes.
And they play Cassandra Nova in Deadpool and Wolverine, which I haven't seen yet.
Okay.
Don't spoil it for me, person who also hasn't seen it yet. Or people that are listening to this. Don't somehow come through the microphone and spoil it for me. But they're pretty good. And they often play characters, well, not in Deadpool and Wolverine, I guess, but that are like, oh, still, don't hurt me. Do you know what I mean? They don't get to play like tough characters a lot.
Okay,
and I
sure.
think like, yeah, they race motorcycles. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Who's Michiru? Live action situation.
Oh, God. This is terrible because now I'm going to have to find somebody who's like a contemporary. And
I don't know how old Emma Corrin is.
Yeah, I don't either, but
Late 20s, maybe.
Not very old.
No, seems very young.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of young actors too. You know who I was thinking?
Who?
I'll spot you one here. Her name's Amandla Stenberg.
Okay.
And she was, if you remember, she was like the main character in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh, sure.
There's the 2 characters. There's like their girlfriends.
Yes.
And the one is like from Norwegian country or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I can say that. And but the other one, not that one, the girlfriend.
Yeah. Right.
And she's in The Acolyte, I think, too.
Okay.
And she's kind of an up-and-comer, and she's really cute, and she's a pretty good actress. And so,
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
You go to the audition, hold that violin.
Now try to juggle a lemon on it. Yeah. You heard me.
Michiru says, "Are these the tickets you're looking for?" And whips out 5 tickets to the festival. And the girls are like, "What?" See? Tube tops not needed after all. Though probably appreciated.
Oh my gosh.
The tickets say concert, June 8th, 1996.
Wow.
So now that's where we are in time.
Yes.
Narima Concert Hall. And it says all seats are free, but it also says like 3,000 yen. Is it like a suggested amount or something? Or is that like...
Are they saying you're not paying for the seat?
They're yeah, they're comp tickets, so it says free, but the price would be $30, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
That's
anyway,
so strange.
And Usagi says, "Whoa, are you sure?" And we cut to Fruit Parlor Crown, where the girls are kissing their tickets as Haruka and Michiru join them for tea. Makoto says, "Why do you have these tickets?" And Ami says, "Oh, they're invitations." I think she means like, comps or free tickets.
Okay.
And Usagi says, "Oh, you took a measure behind the closed door, didn't you?"
What the heck does that mean?
What?
I have no idea what she's talking about.
You got out the old tube top, didn't you? Usagi says, "You're a secret fan of Three Lights, aren't you?" All right, let's just back up. Let's get right into a translation rewind.
Okay.
We'll see if this is as bad as it sounds.
Rewind time.
In the Viz Sub, available on YouTube, Usagi says, "You pulled some strings, didn't you?" Okay, that's a little clearer.
Yeah.
I wondered how pulled some strings became taking a measure behind closed doors. After we hit episode 200, I'm going to have to go off and take an intensive 18-month Japanese language course with Mountain Ninjas so I can come back and we can do the whole series all over again, but this time just off the Japanese dialogue. We're going to really nail those Minakopropisms the next time around.
Okay, sure.
I understand them all.
Sure.
And we're going to have a third host who's a wizened little old Japanese lady who just drinks tea all the time. And she's like, "No, it's this." Thank you, Kyoko. Haruka says, "Oh, you don't know what's going on." And we cut to the girls looking at an ad for the show, and it says, "Three Lights and Kaio Michiru, a joint concert." Mm-hmm. And Usagi says, "Wow, what's a joint concert?" I think it's like when Willie Nelson is playing.
Oh my God.
Ray says, and I feel her here, "Why did you say wow?" I feel like that's something that you do. I'll be saying something and you'll be like, "Oh, cool. What is that?"
I guess I do that sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. But you're not a rabbit, though.
No, I'm not a rabbit.
What are you? A dog.
You're the dog.
Yes. Ami says, "It means the musicians will play live together in concert." And Usagi says, "You mean Three Lights and Michiru?" And the girls say, "Mm-hmm. Are going to play together?" Yes. "Like cool and hot?" "Sure, like cool and hot." And Usagi says, "Sugoi! Sugoi! And Michiru is like, "Oh, tee. Please, I shouldn't be hanging around with these little girls. They're too young for me." A lightning bolt of power blasts Sailor Iron Mouse back across the space room. The blast was fired by Queen Galaxia, who says, "Do you understand what I said?"
"You want a fresh one?"
Mouse says, "Yeah." And Galaxia says, "Then you understand that you're running out of chances, right?" Mouse looks distraught as behind her, two shadowy, laughing figures appear. Galaxia says, "There's no room for useless people." And the shadows recede to reveal an orange-haired, black-winged woman with a starred tiara with a feather stuck in it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call her Macaroni. And a blue-haired, ear-winged woman with two ribbons crossing her face with a star where they meet and a shell necklace with a star on it.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to call her Coco Mishell because she's way over-accessorized. Galaxia says, "If you want to live, find a star seed. No excuses. Got it?" And Iron Mouse says, "Got it. Yeah, I'll take care of that thing that we talked about." On the streets of Juban, we see Iron Mouse as producer Nezu leaning dejectedly against a wall, saying to herself, "Oh, if I fail this time, it's going to be a real problem. I'll be sleeping with the fishes. I wonder what kind of person has a real star seed." And she looks out at the crowd on the street and says, "There's an awful lot of people here. They ought to wear name tags or something." Just then she turns around to look at the wall she's been holding up, and she sees a wheat paste poster for the International Music Festival, featuring 2 acts from right here in Japan.
Yes.
How is this international? And the
question.
Fiery conductor, Alberto Pongarayan, will be there.
I guess that's how it's international.
I guess. He's not from Japan.
Yeah.
Nezu says, "Whoa, this guy has to have a real star seed. I mean, I can't wait for Willie Nelson to play Budokan again. This'll have to do. The evening of the concert arrives, and we see the crowds gathering around the open-air venue. In Three Lights' dressing room, we see flowers from well-wishers, and we see Seiya, who says, "What kind of woman is this Kaio Michiru? I don't know, how many kinds are there?"
Oh my God.
What are you talking about,
I don't know.
Weirdo? Yaten says, "Well, I don't like it, doing a joint with a stranger. It is a Willie Nelson concert." Taiki says, "Don't worry about it. We'll just play our music for our princess." And Seiya gets up and says, "All right, let's go. It's time. Rock and roll." Outside the venue, we see the girls, minus Usagi, waiting for Usagi. And they look great, to a woman. But I want to point out something specific.
Okay.
Ami understood the assignment.
Okay.
She probably doesn't own a tube top.
Probably
But she's
not.
wearing a blue and white striped sleeveless zip-up turtleneck top and a turquoise pleated micro mini and a white headband. Where in her closet was this?
Great question.
Behind the lab coats and the fukas, she have a secret panel where she keeps all the hoochie stuff for concerts? Anyway, she's pulling it off.
Yeah.
Usagi is late, and Mako thinks that she must have took the wrong bus, but Ami says, "No way. She's a high schooler now. That's impossible." Usagi stands at a bus stop miles away from the venue.
Yes.
As the bus pulls away. And she looks up at a forest, and there's like a temple on the horizon as the sun is going down. And she's like, At the concert, the crowd goes crazy as Three Lights jam with Michiru on violin. Three Lights in their colored suits, and Michiru is in a body-hugging, sleeveless white dress with white gloves, with a blue bow on the stomach, because why the hell not?
Yeah, right.
Maybe they're playing Devil Went Down to Georgia or something.
Oh, there.
Put that
there you
violin
go.
there.
Yeah.
I done told you once, you son of a bitch, watch me juggle this lemon. Fuji is a mountain, run girls run. Japan is the house of the rising sun. Karage in the bedpan picking out dough. Usagi is a cat bark, no child, no. That's The Devil Went Down to Juban. As they play, Michiru thinks to herself, what is this feeling? A strong wave? A message of their love? And Seiya, too, feels a feeling, thinking, the strong brightness of a star? And both Michiru and Seiya think of each other. Who are you? Not the Who, it's Willie Nelson. Come on. The concert concludes as we cut to later as the crew is striking the stage and Usagi runs in like, "Oh, is it over?" And Haruka arrives behind her and says, "You're late. Everyone was worried." And Usagi says, "Haruka-san, it's over, right?" And Haruka's like, "Yes." And Usagi's like, "Ugh!" You know that sound that Charlie Brown makes?
Yes.
Haruka says, I'm going to Michiru's dressing room. You want to come along? And Usagi grabs her arm. She's pouting. And she says, We cut to the dressing room where Michiru is packing up. And Seiya comes in and says, "Congratulations." She says, "You too. You were great." And Seiya says, "You were incredible." And Michiru says, "Well, thank you." And Seiya bows and says, "Actually, I'm a great fan of yours." Michiru says, "Really, you don't look like a classical music person, but we'll keep it a secret from your fans. Otherwise, I don't know what they'd do to me." Yeah, the Seihive can be really brutal. Seiya says, "You're mysterious." And Michiru says, "What about you?" And sexy jazz music plays as Seiya leans closer and says, "I want to know much more about you." And Michiru says, "Is that so?" And she stands up, holds up her hair, exposing the zipper on her dress, and says, "Then do you want to help me change?" What?
I know.
You know, Seiya and Michiru is a ship that I can get behind, even though I can't figure out the logistics of it. That's up to them.
Yeah.
We put them together, then they work it out. Seiya is like, work, work, work. But before anything happens, Haruka walks in. This is bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
Pop star found dead after hit and run. It's going to be hard to get the blood out of the white walls on the 2000 GT.
Oh my God.
Haruka doesn't say anything, but Usagi slides in and says, "Michiru, oh, Seiya?" And he says, dumpling? Well, you're with a good-looking guy. So he is, I mean, she, and he is saying that she is in her, but her, and her, this is the future that liberals want.
Yeah.
A love pentagram. Usagi says, don't be rude. Haruka is, and Michiru says, my important partner. Good save.
Yes.
Whatever, I don't know what you're saving. And Usagi, enough with the performative allyship here. These are adults.
Yes.
Okay, they can speak for themselves. Seiya's like, you're a bad girl, Michiru. What the hell?
I have no
Read
idea.
the room, guy. You are about to die. He sticks his hand out and says, I'm Seiya Ko. Nice to meet you. Haruka steps forward and says, I'm Haruka Tenno. Nice to meet you. And the two clasp hands, but like competitively. This is like Arnold and Carl Weathers in Predator.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Now, this is a handshake that somebody's going to win. Seiya leans in and says, nice greeting. And Haruka says, go away. And Seiya walks out saying, have a nice evening, Michiru. Visit us later, Dumpling. See you. Okay, the Haruka Seiya ship is something I can get behind.
Really?
I kind of like where this... Again, it's impractical. It's not going to happen, but for one short second, I could see it.
They hate each other. They love each other.
They watch him go, and Haruka says, don't let him in your dressing room, okay? And Michiru says, oh, are you jealous? Usagi, who has sapphic tension blindness, says, allow me to apologize for him. He can be rude, but he's a really nice guy. And Michiru says, Haruka is suspicious of strangers, but you're going to visit him, right? And Usagi says, oh, yep, see you later. And Usagi leaves, and Haruka says, Michiru, I was... But Michiru puts her finger to Haruka's lips, lifts up her hair, and says, do you want to help me change? Damn, wish I was your lover. It's more sex far stuff.
Yes, it is.
I like it. Working on a sex farce.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Let's get it.
In the hallway, Seiya stops and looks at his hand, thinking, Tenno Haruka. I felt the same power, the same strong brightness of a star, the shard of a star, and combat power. I wonder who he is. Down the hall comes Usagi, and Seiya says, you finished talking with the good-looking guy? And she says, hey, listen, Haruka is a woman. And Seiya says, you're just making excuses. Usagi says, no, what about you? If we hadn't shown up, what would you have done? Seiya blushes and says, nothing. Which, right?
Yeah.
So he talks a game.
Yeah.
But he's a kid. That's okay. And Usagi's like, why are you so upset? I doubt Michiru was going to be serious about a kid. Got him. And she starts to walk off. But Seiya, following, says, that's cold.
Damn, that's a cold-ass honky.
And how do you know them anyway? Usagi says, you really want to know? And Seiya says, I think. Usagi says, they are important to me. And Seiya says, well, you just get more and more mysterious. Well, don't get used to that, because as Usagi has been walking backwards, she didn't see the start of the down staircase, and she starts flailing in midair until she falls backwards and lands head on head, tete-a-tete,
Yes.
on an old guy in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Before Seiya can do anything, or really even tries to do anything, the pair fall down the staircase and end up sprawled on the floor. Usagi says, oh, sorry. And the man, who is bald on top and has a mustache, says, are you okay, mademoiselle? And Seiya yells, Mr. Garion, and runs to help him up. Usagi says, do you know him? And Seiya says, you don't know Mr. Garion? And Usagi says, Mr. Garapon? Which I guess might be shaky bread.
Shaky bread?
Or shaking bread.
Oh my gosh.
Gara. Onomatopoeia
Yeah,
for a
shaking.
rattle or something, you know, right?
Yeah,
Shaking,
right.
Pon, bread.
Yeah, I guess
Shaky
you're
bread.
right. Shaky bread.
Hey, come on down to Shaky's Pizza. We got a deal. Large 2-topping and an order of shaky bread for $9.99. Kids eat free. Seiya says, rude, But Mr. Garyan laughs and says, "A funny mademoiselle." Oh boy. I think this guy hit his head a little harder than we thought. "Your girlfriend?" And Seiya says, yeah, more or less. And Usagi's like, "No, just a friend." And Seiya says, "Ooh, that's cold."
"Damn, that's a cold-ass honky."
Mr. Garyan says, "Seiya, today's show was excellent. I felt a mysterious wave in your songs." Oh, that was Yaten. He's really into the melodica right now. Can't get him off that thing. Garyan says, "In strong passion, I can feel gentle love, but also sadness. It's like a message to your love." I'm talking nonsense. I do have a head injury. Seiya says, "Well, let me take you to your room." But he says, "That's okay. I want to get some fresh air." And as he walks away, he says, "Seiya, if your songs really are a message of love, I hope they reach her soon." And he walks away into the janitor closet. Usagi says, "Is he really a great man, this Garapan?" And Seiya says, "Garyan! Garyan, right." He says, "He's a world-renowned conductor. At the end of the show, you saw the new Tokyo Orchestra, right? He's the conductor. You didn't see it?" Usagi says, "I have some reasons for that." "But is he okay? I should check on him." And as she walks off, Seiya thinks, a mysterious wave. Our message is reaching somebody.
Mysteriously.
Outside on the stage, Mr. Garyan is still holding his head, and he says, "Ouch, what a terrible thing." And a voice says, "Sorry, but you're going to see some more terrible things." He turns around to see producer Nezu. She says, "I'm producer Nezu from Galaxy TV. And she fumbles in her breast pocket. "Oh, God. Oh, my business card." He says, "What can I do for you?" And she says, forget about it, Choo!" And she becomes Sailor Iron Mouse. Mouse says, "You starseed, give it to me." And she blasts Garyan with her bracelets, and he yells, "Oh my God!" You know when a Japanese person tries to say, "Oh my God"?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
His starseed is revealed, and Usagi in the entrance tunnel sees the flash of light, and she transforms into Eternal Sailor Moon. But we do the whole thing again.
Yes.
Come on, guys. Mr. Garyan's starseed quickly becomes black, and Mouse says, "Mamma mia, not a starseed." "Okay, next one." But she hears, "Hold it right there. Our big brothers and sisters, we must take good care of seniors. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you." Mouse starts walking away, and Sailor Moon says, "Hey, where are you going?" And Mouse says, "Okay, I don't got time to play with you. I gotta do overtime tonight." Her phone booth appears, and she disappears with an arrivederci. Mr. Garyan's starseed begins to crackle, and Moon says, "I got a bad feeling about this." And he transforms into Sailor Conductor, a pink man?
Yeah.
With pointy ears and a little antenna that I guess is like the flag of a musical note.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it's supposed
and
to be.
And the rest
as well.
is, don't let Coco Mishell see this. He's in like a yellow union suit, unless that's his skin, with
Unclear.
a purple tuxedo jacket, an orange collar, and a white bow tie. Just visual diarrhea all over. And then like Matthew Lesko, instead of question marks, he's just got like musical symbols on him all over the place.
Yes.
It's just terrible. And also, he buzzes like an electric razor? You're going to have to help me with this.
I have no idea.
He goes, and he arrives, and then he like kind of cocks his head, and he's like, "I'm Sailor Conductor." And he goes, "Bzzz."
I don't get that at all.
He just buzzes like an electric razor or an
So
adult
strange.
massager. I have no idea. I'm not a conductor, but I've spent a lot of time in music rooms. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I have no idea.
Very strange. Send us your letters. As the villain stands before her, Sailor Moon says, "As I expected, this is the natural course of events." Which is like the more sedate way, the unhappy way of saying it has to be like this.
Yeah, right.
Conductor says, "Welcome to my theater. Today I'll begin with the first movement, piano." And he throws a handful of conducting batons at Sailor Moon. She ducks, and they stick into the wall behind her. Conductor says, "Second movement, cello." And he throws more batons. Third movement, violin. And he throws more batons. Sailor Moon gets pinned to the wall. Conductor produces more batons and says, the final movement. Penetrating the darkness of the night, the air of freedom breaks through. We are the three sacred shooting stars. Sailor Star Fighter, Sailor Star Maker, Sailor Star Healer, Sailor Starlights. Stage on. The Starlights leap down from the scaffolding, and Fighter gives us a Star Sirius laser that blasts Conductor to the ground. As Maker and Healer free Sailor Moon from the wall, Conductor begins to rise, and Fighter says, now Sailor Moon! She gives us the shtick, and Conductor becomes Garian once more. As the Starlights begin to walk away, Sailor Moon says, wait, I want to thank you for helping me. I believe we can keep fighting together. And Fighter says to his comrades, what do you think? And Maker says, we seem to have a common enemy. And Healer says, I don't mind as long as you don't bother us. I just like having fun. And Fighter says, there you go. And Usagi steps forward and says, let's work together, and offers her hand. This is a non-competitive handshake.
Yes.
This is a scrimmage handshake. Just as Fighter is about to take her hand, we get a world shaking, and Fighter leaps aside as the blast barely misses her. She yells, who are you? And from the audience emerges sailors Uranus and Neptune, with Uranus saying, go away, I won't miss again. Sailor Moon says, please stop. But Uranus says, these guys are intruders from outside the solar system. Don't believe them. And she prepares again to attack. But Sailor Moon stands between the two groups saying, that's not true. They're not bad. Neptune says, step aside. But Healer says, forget it. We don't have to work with you. And Seiya looks right at Sailor Moon and says, we can't work together, can we? Moon says, what? No. But the Starlights leap away, leaving her alone on stage. She says, why can't we work with them? And Neptune says, it's our mission to protect you from outside intruders. Bang up job on Nihilania, guys! Yeah,
no kidding.
Where the hell were you? Friggin' honeymoon in a lighthouse or whatever, driving your cars. So protect from outside intruders, please! Sailor Moon seems sad at this, and we cut to later as Usagi, back in her civvies, looks up at the sky. Seiya arrives and says, Dumpling, I'll take you home. It's late. Usagi says, Seiya, can't we make friends with someone who came from a far, distant, unknown place? And Seiya's like Australia? What's up with you? I mean, I don't know. I'm a transfer student from a faraway city that you've never seen. Cleveland. But I'm your friend. And Usagi says, that's right. Oh, I'm relieved. Let's go home. And he's like, what the hell? You're funny. As we pan up to the full moon. Michiru
was sure a flirt, suggesting that Seiya unzip her dress.
We are being, yeah. Well, she had like another dress on under it. That was the joke. We're encountering adult sexuality.
Yes.
And the one thing that they didn't do, and maybe this would shatter the illusion for all the little young girls who, are Seiya fans, but it would be for him to be like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's easy for him to lean on, somebody like Usagi, but then Michiru's like, let's go. Right here? Or like on the floor? Like, what do you think? He's like,
yeah.
And I think you could read that.
Yeah, you could.
But they're not exactly playing that. Then they have a big fight on a stage. How many fights have stages have there been in this show?
Probably a lot.
I think we've got a free sub at this point. And they do show up at the end, but while all that's going on, are Haruka and Michiru just banging in the dressing room this whole time?
Possibly.
Until they hear, like, what are the sound of, are those batons sinking into wood? Over and over again?
We should go check that out.
All right, zip up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
What's the L word called in Japan?
Great question. Edward.
It probably has, the Japanese naming convention, it probably has like, hot, sexy ladies of a certain age who are becoming friends with each other and more. Goodbye, men.
Oh my God.
I like the sex farce stuff.
Yeah, I like it too.
And, I'm glad it didn't come till now.
Yeah. Right.
And it makes me want a season 6. It makes me want Sailor Moon, the college years,
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying to vote for Michael Dukakis. No, that was in the 80s. They're trying to vote for Ralph Nader, and they're like, come on, man. They're like, I want to go to the protest, but they're showing my favorite movie at the Dollar Theater.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Right, and Ray's always like Ray's going to another college. She always shows up. They're like, Ray, it's the third period. What are you doing here? I told him I was pro-Palestine.
Oh my God.
And, what are these girls getting up to? This sounds terrible. Never mind. We've had some good ideas. This doesn't sound like a good idea. These are the years that we should definitely skip.
The college years?
You want to see them as adults? Fine. You want to see them as junior hires? Fine. We got to skip late high school and college. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I also like that they're using the musical side of this. Again, we cry because it's like, what a great chance to use our girl Minako, who has...
Yeah, right.
Honestly, done better than Makoto has these last few seasons. But could lean on that aspect of her character. But to bring Michiru in, Michiru is a magical mystery touring woman herself. And
yes.
So having her go, is that a theremin? What is that? Detecting something extra in their music. That's kind of neat.
It is neat. And I like how they both sense something from the other, person. Like Seiya and Michiru both sense something deeper. A hidden message.
The message I'm getting is not her type. Okay. Actually, hold on. Wait just 1 second. If you hear an explosion in the hallway, don't worry about it.
What?
Are the Starlights attracted to women when they're women?
I don't know.
Me either. This is the kind of thing that we would explore on my Sailor Moon high school and college show. Which is why it would be a bad idea.
Oh, come on.
This is what AO3 is for. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, and so then they sort of meet and they're trying to feel each other out. Listen.
Yes.
But in the way that at this point, James Bond just... a lady is going to sleep with him, have the night of her life, and then it's like, well, time to stab him in the back.
Yeah, right.
And then she will get shot by the sniper who's also trying to kill him, and then he, turns around and she gets shot by the guy.
Yeah. James
Bond's stupid. Star Trek. I know. We need a little red alert to go off every time I talk about Star Trek. In Star Trek, Captain Kirk is thought of as being this Lothario. But that's for people who never watched the original show.
Right.
When he does that, yes, it's a romantic series set in the 60s. They go to it a little too much. But he's almost always trying to seduce somebody or to get into somebody's good graces to get information from them.
Yeah.
Or because they are aliens and, it's his jailer or something like that. And he's like, if you let me out of here, make it worth your while, sort of thing.
Right.
Or it's the daughter of the evil Nazi guy that runs the planet or something like that.
Right.
That is a weapon. He is a honey trap. That is a weapon in his arsenal.
Right.
And up to the point of that, it's the weird horniness of Gene Roddenberry that brought us this whole universe. But I think up to that point, you would see, the spaceman, the Buck Rogers, the, who was the Robinson's pilot? I can't remember.
I can't remember now. I have no idea.
Matt LeBlanc played him in the terrible 90s movie.
Oh my God.
But these guys, they have a rocket pack and they're going to punch you with their fists. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They might hug the leading lady at the end of a story.
Yeah.
But now you've got William Shatner, right?
Uh-huh.
This piece of Canadian bacon, and it's kosher, coming out, and he's like, tell me more about yourself. And the lady's like, oh, well, it's into me. I put my phaser down. Oh, got her, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing that a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
But just enough. Not enough to get them thrown off of American TV. I don't know. This came out in the 2000s. So that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
And of course, it's kind of aborted. I wish that it had been aborted, not just because what you do with a scene like this, the best way to play this scene is to allow us to learn about their characters as well.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it kind of works, but you have a point where, because if Haruka walks in and that's the only thing that stops them, then good thing she walked in.
Right.
But if she walks in and it's already off, but it looks like it's on, then there's extra tension because they will feel like, no, we weren't. If they get caught basically doing it,
yeah,
then they're like, well, you got me. But if they're, no, we weren't going to do it.
Right.
That's extra tension. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And that's where you can play up the thing where Michiru, we find out, oh, I guess Michiru has got game too. It's not just Haruka.
Right.
And then we also find out that Seiya's like, no, how do you, is zipper? Okay, does this come down? Or... And then she's like, oh boy, forget it. And then Haruka walks in.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I was just, ugh. And everybody's mad at each other.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that is what you want.
That's that romantic tension. Everybody's mad at each other. A romance movie is not 90 minutes of people kissing.
That's true.
It's about 85 minutes of people being mad at each other. And then a guy comes in, he's all wet, and he's like, I'm so sorry, Lizzie, my prejudice and my pride. Or which one did I have? What are we doing this week? I'm the pride?
Yeah, right.
You're the prejudice. They will swap.
Yes.
And then she's like, oh, so wonderful. The end.
Yes, pretty much.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Sailor Moon High. Na, 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 na. Would you recognize the color of television tuned to a dead channel?
Have you seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion?
Is Neo Tokyo about to explode?
Are you a technical boy or a razor girl?
Do you live 20 minutes into the future?
Do you dream of electric sheep?
Do you know Kung Fu?
If your answer to any of these questions is yes, you may be a cyberpunk. And your only hope is Mona Lisa Overpod.
On each episode of Mona Lisa Overpod, we try to answer the question, what is cyberpunk? By diving into the movies, TV shows, and literature of the genre that takes a hard look at the future we're living in today.
Mona Lisa Overpod is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Jack in with us as we punch deck and snow crash our lawnmower. Man?
Oh man, you had it right up until the end there.
Hack the planet!
Right on.
Today for Kuro Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about Nippon Budokan.
Oh yeah! Rock and roll!
Yes.
Rock and roll! Mommy's all right. Daddy's all right. Right?
So we thought we would talk about one of Japan's most famous musical venues, Nippon Budokan. From Wikipedia, quote, the Nippon Budokan, literally Japan Martial Arts Hall, often shortened to simply Budokan, is an indoor arena in Chiyoda, Tokyo, Japan. It was originally built for the inaugural Olympic judo competition in the 1964 Summer Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Boys' Day.
Yeah.
It's Sports Day.
That's right. While its primary purpose is to host martial arts contests, the arena has gained additional fame as one of the world's most outstanding musical performance venues. The Budokan was a popular venue for Japanese professional wrestling for a time. Most recently, the arena hosted the Olympic debut of karate in the 2020 Summer Olympics, as well as the judo competition at both the 2020 Summer Olympics and the 2020 Summer Paralympics. The Beatles were the first rock group to perform at Budokan in a series of 5 shows held between June 30th and July 2nd, 1966.
Yeah.
ABBA ended their last tour and held their final live performance.
Are we done with the Beatles already?
We'll come back to the Beatles.
Okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I got Beatles facts.
I've got Beatles facts too.
Good.
So,
yeah.
ABBA ended their last tour and held their final live performance there in March 1980.
Wow. Then final live performance.
Yeah.
They're back together.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
They took a chance. On themselves.
On me, yeah. Many musicians have recorded live albums at Budokan, including Cheap Trick, Bob Dylan, Blur, Tom Petty, Eric Clapton, Neil Young, Duran Duran, Kiss, Ozzy Osbourne, Mariah Carey, Judas Priest, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and Journey. And there's more.
Yeah, Cheap Trick gets all the credit for it.
Yeah. For starting it.
But Dylan was the same year, 79, I think.
Yeah.
But Zeppelin was playing there in like the 71, 72, like the early 70s.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac had been there, and so yeah, really popular.
It got really popular,
and it's a huge arena, and it's probably really exciting because these American groups don't probably tour a lot in Japan. You know what I mean? So it's like every single fan of Deep Purple's gonna be here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Budokan is located in Kitanomaru Park in the center of Tokyo near the Imperial Palace. The octagonal structure is 42 meters or 140 feet high and holds 14,471 people.
Yeah.
The building is modeled after Yume Dono Hall of Dreams in Horoji in Nara.
Huh.
Yume Dono was constructed on the site of Prince Shotoku Tashi's private palace, where he lived until his death in 622. His Hall of Dreams gets its name from a legend that a golden Buddha once appeared to the Prince Shotoku in a dream. The architect for Budokan is Yamada Mamoru, who is well known as the architect of Hijiribashi Bridge in Ochanomizu and Kyoto Tower. The octagonal shape was selected in order to make the cardinal directions clear, allowing the Bushido custom of the ruler to sit facing the south, while the athletes come in from the east and the west. Also, the golden onion-shaped decoration placed on top of the roof is called a giboshi, and it is a talisman to ward against evil. The news that the Beatles, a foreign rock band, was going to perform at Budokan was met with a degree of disdain. The reason for this had little to do with the band itself. Instead, it is evidence of how important martial arts are culturally to Japan.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, these devil music worshippers. No,
yeah.
It was more like, oh, they're going to ruin the karate vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Martial arts have a spiritual bent to them, so having a rock band play in a spiritual space.
These non-kung fu fight. What if the kung fu fighting guy wanted to do it? Right. Oh, well, that's fine. Come on in.
Yeah, right. So having them come into a spiritual space felt like it was defiling the space.
I can see that. Did they bow when they entered and left the stage?
I don't remember. The Beatles always bow. That's the joke, right? Yeah,
but
I suppose you're right.
My sensei always made me, you have to bow and when you enter and leave the training space.
Yeah, you're right.
The dojo.
They recorded the first 2 performances, I think, of the Beatles, and I watched one of them.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that. I can watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
You know what I'd like to see?
What?
The Greg Allman and Cher concert in like 78 or 79.
Okay. How come?
Because it's Greg Allman and Cher.
I don't know Greg Allman.
Greg Allman Band?
I have no idea.
They don't really go together. They released an album together. They were like married for a while.
Were they?
But they're like totally different music styles. But whatever.
Huh.
And then you could see ELO and then go see YMO a year later.
I don't know who either
Electric
of those
Light Orchestra and Yellow Magic Orchestra.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Some extremists also protested the Beatles' performances. The Greater Japan Patriotic Party, founded by Satoshi Bin Ako and reported by Reuters as having around 4,000 members, have plastered about 10,000 posters along Tokyo's major streets, some reading, quote, "Beat away the Beatles from Japan," and, quote, "The Beatles should not disgrace the Nihon Budokan Hall." Akko's chief complaint reported by AP was, quote, against the cost of the extraordinary measures the police planned to control the Beatles fans. There were plans for around 3,000 police to guard the performances. Akko also accused the band as spreading, quote, juvenile delinquency and, quote, urged shaving their long hair and expelling them.
Okay, so there was a little bit of that anti-Beatles stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As banners draped across the truck read Beatles Go Home in English. Over the 3 nights that they spent at the Tokyo Hilton while they were essentially locked in their rooms, the Beatles collaborated on a painting for charity, which became known as Images of a Woman. All 4 members painted corners of the 30 by 40-inch paper, working by light of a lamp in the center. When the painting was complete, the lamp was removed, and the Beatles signed the empty space next to their renditions. Images of a Woman is believed to be the only painting by all 4 Beatles. It was sold again in Osaka for $15 million, or currently $96,713, and in 2002 appeared on eBay auction website. In September 2012, it was put
eBay?
up. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
In September 2012, it was put up for sale again through Philip Weiss Auctions and sold for $155,250.
So this is 66, and he met Yoko in like a late 66.
Okay.
So he's in Japan.
Yeah.
This is before he's even met Yoko.
Yeah. I can't remember where they met exactly, though. Did they meet in Japan or did they meet in America?
No, they met at like an art show that she was doing.
I knew it was an art show. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, it was in America.
She's Ichise, right? She was born in Japan.
Okay,
but,
sure.
You know, or does she has a citizenship? Oh, she probably renounced it by this point, right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Those in attendance at the concerts may have simply felt lucky to be there due to how difficult it was to get a ticket. As the Beatles photographer Tim Hill put it, quote, tickets were allocated by ballot and lucky winners, close to 44,000 in total, who saw one of the 5 shows celebrated their good fortune. For 2,100 yen, or 8,500 yen in 2021 dollars, a fan was able to see the Beatles play 11 songs in 30 minutes.
Whoa.
It was a very short concert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they really were just like, she's a woman. All right, goodbye.
Yeah, right.
Bow, get off stage.
They had a couple of songs that I think are really familiar with people, like I Feel Fine and Yesterday. And then they had other songs that I wasn't as familiar with, like Ringo saying, I want to be your lover, baby. I want to be your man.
Yeah, want to be your man.
Yeah. So all the Beatles sang
it's
at
only
least...
66.
I know. All the Beatles sang at least one song.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're just doing the road show.
Yeah.
Was it just them?
It was just them.
There's no opener?
Well, that's not true.
Or somebody had to follow them?
There was an opener.
Can you imagine the Beatles? They just bow, they rip the cords out of their electric Rickenbackers and they're gone. And then you're like... Subtitle, we have to follow the Beatles?
Yeah, right.
Now get out there. Yellow Magic Orchestra?
I think there was an opener, but I don't think they played like a full set necessarily. So it was a very short concert.
Worth every yen.
That's right. From Wikipedia, quote, the Budokan gained worldwide fame when American artists Cheap Trick and Bob Dylan used the arena to record their performances. Cheap Trick at Budokan 1978 and Bob Dylan at Budokan 1979. The venue is popular for recording live albums because it has good acoustics, is relatively large, and Japanese audiences are known for being highly appreciative when appropriate, but quiet during performances. Eric Clapton described the Tokyo audience as, quote, almost over-appreciative, unquote, in interviews promoting Just One Night, 1980, his own live album recorded at Budokan.
Yeah. All right. Well, suck it up, you ugly sponge. Not going to be happening for you for very long.
Yeah, I know.
And you probably hated it people weren't wearing masks.
Probably.
Not a fan.
Cheap Trick was finding it difficult to make it big. They opened for...
They suck.
They opened for... Wow.
Well, I mean, they're fine. They're all right, you might say. We're all right. They're the kind of geniuses that would put all and all together in a thing that you chant in a song. So you're saying, we're all right. Sounds like there's got something caught in your throat. That's the kind of like instinct that they've got. But I got to tell you, they keep the guitar pick people in business. Their lead guitarist, his gimmick is he throws guitar picks into the crowd.
He literally does?
Yeah. His stand has like 87 guitar picks on it, and he throws. That's their thing. It's a gimmick. Everything they do is a gimmick. It's a cheap trick. You know, I'm sure that's what they say it is. It's also possible that they're medium talents that had a great concert and a great record in Japan.
Yeah. It was difficult for them to make names for themselves. They were touring a lot, which got their name out there more, but was expensive because they still didn't have a massive fan base. Then they got a gold record in Japan. So they booked a flight to Japan and arrived to a sea of screaming fans. The record label came up with the idea of recording a live album at Budokan. The Cheap Trick at Budokan album was so well received that the phrase at Budokan has become synonymous for great live albums. It is acclaimed as one of the greatest live rock albums of all time. Oof. It was ranked number 426 in the 2003 edition of Rolling Stone magazine's list of 500 greatest albums of all time.
I guess it's not that good then. Where was Peter Frampton?
Great question. I don't know.
Because if he was above him, then it's not one of the greatest. I guess, if there's only 3, then maybe it's one of the greatest. But if Frampton was in the top 100, which I'm guessing he probably was, although there's 500, he was definitely top half.
Yeah.
And they're at 400 something.
Yes.
Then maybe it's okay.
In 2019, the album was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the United States National Recording Registry.
Along with 43 of his guitar picks.
Yeah, right. For being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Bob Dylan at Budokan was recorded during 1978 World Tour and was composed mostly of the artist's greatest hits. It was originally released in 1978 in Japan only, and then was released worldwide in April 1979. The performances in the album are dramatically changed from the originals, using almost all the musicians that played on the album street legal, but relying on a much larger band and stronger use of woodwind and backup singers.
Then he went Christian right after.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
NJ
That's not actually, should I just say, that's not a great album.
Yeah.
The Dylan at Budokan.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Okay.
It's okay. And there's an energy, of Dylan concert, but famously Dylan is, since the Newport Music Festival, Dylan as a live performer, I don't know. I've seen him like 5 or 6 times, and I love seeing him.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like an experience. But usually my experience is listen to him for 3 hours, go home, listen to his albums for 4.
Really?
Yeah. And specifically, I think Rolling Stone gave it like a 1 out of 5 stars.
Oh my God.
Dylan at Budokan.
Yeah, it doesn't have the best reputation.
He was tired.
Yeah.
He was ready to go Jesus. And he did.
And he did.
You know who had a great show at Budokan 1981?
Who?
The Police.
Oh, wow.
And they went back in the mid-'80s, I think maybe 85. And while they were there, they filmed a video.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
For So Lonely. They filmed it in Tokyo, and then I think they also filmed part of it in Hong Kong when they went there on their tour right after.
Okay.
So yeah, if you ever watch the video for So Lonely, it's just the Police. Take that, Beastie Boys. Way before the Beastie Boys did their thing. It's them running around the Tokyo subway and the streets,
yes.
And people are like, who are these guys? Who are these blonde giants? Except the lead guitarist. Sorry, Andy. Probably about average Japanese height.
So Budokan there's like a lot of really great concerts that happened at Budokan over the years, and a lot of really great albums that came out of live recordings from Budokan.
Yeah. I wonder, well, or apparently not, because the Bob Dylan album wasn't very good. Japan played at Budokan.
Japan played at Budokan?
Yeah.
There's a band called Japan?
Yeah, they're from like Catford or something like that.
Okay.
If you're a band named Japan and you go to Tokyo and play, are you like, yeah, all right? Or are you like, it seemed funny to us at the time. Anyway, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Or even worse, Asia.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Asia in Asia at Budokan, 1983.
Oh my goodness.
It's all good, though, because then when Corey Hart shows up, he's like, how bad can I do? Both Japan and Asia had to play here. I'll be fine.
Who's Corey Hart?
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Oh, my God. Do you think there's anybody who comes out of Budokan and is like, well, that was not a great concert?
Yeah. I've played better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to hear a story like that. You know, when Spinal Tap were there in 82, very tragic. Of course, they lost their drummer.
Oh, no.
So they'd probably wish for something different. You know, Blur recorded there.
Yeah.
Did a CD there. And a concert, obviously, but it's
right.
They did a live show. Probably at the height of their popularity worldwide. Then it'd be like Prince, and everybody's been there.
Do you think
Oasis was there after Blur, which probably really pissed them off.
Probably. Do you think who's more successful, Blur or the Gorillaz?
The Gorillaz.
Okay.
But it's they've been around longer, and so you can't really Blur really only had like that one hit in the U.S. So bigger, are you talking worldwide? Are you talking U.S. market? Billboard
I guess
chart?
I was talking about
They
US
were definitely
market.
as big as Oasis in Britain.
Okay, sure.
And we're basically starting to win that fight. And then Oasis, well, everybody came over here in the mid-90s. And Oasis got really big here.
Yeah.
At least for a while. And so that was kind of that put the period on the sentence. I think they were winning at that point.
Yeah.
But look at them now. And Gorilla's still going, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, again, the Gorillaz, one hit, I think. Well, Clint Eastwood, and then I think Feel Good charted. But not a big charting band. But
That's
try to buy Gorillaz tickets. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'd love
Get
to
on the
see
phone
them. I'd love to see them live.
with your 4 friends.
Yeah. I think it would be a fun concert.
Yeah, I've had a couple chances to see them, and every single time. When is my FOMO going to overcome my foe of being out in public? If my FOMO can win the fight against my agoraphobia, I'll see you at the next concert.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, all those cool bands I've never seen, but I've seen, I saw Willie Nelson.
Oh, you did see Willie Nelson.
Oh, that was a great show.
Was it?
I'm not kidding. That was really good.
That's awesome.
So local ballpark here. So a minor league team. But still, full-size ballpark. And so the stage was in the outfield. That's how you do it, right?
Sure.
So you could sit in the stands, but also the field, was all open seating. And so we sat down there. Slight air of cannabis throughout the entire show. But that wasn't too bad. And yeah, it was great. They played. This was a while ago now. I won't put a specific date on it, but it was a while ago. His son had joined the band. His son is still a performer now.
Oh, okay.
As I think he's lead guitarist, and that kid is good.
Wow.
So it's like, here's a Willie Nelson concert, but then we'll stop during Redheaded Stranger, and this kid will just shred like this guitar solo, and then go back to the thing. Yeah, it was a great show though.
That's awesome.
I saw Dylan in the same venue as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's right by the train tracks. So when he was like in the middle of his playing, they're really loud, but in the middle of his playing, a train started to go by. And my girlfriend at the time I was there with her, I was like, I said, Sloan Tray coming. And she said, it takes a lot to laugh, takes a train to cry.
Are those song titles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What about Train at Budokan?
Oh my God.
They're probably huge in Japan.
You think so?
Train?
Yeah. Maybe.
They're like a low-key, I don't know. Who knows what, again, we can't paint a country with a wide horsehair brush dipped in ink. But I bet they do. The Train is kind of like, it's kind of like Bare Naked Ladies on Indica. Right?
Sure.
Bare Naked Ladies is like human cocaine, but you smooth that out, a little indica. What I mean is, their songs just a collection of like random pop culture references and words, Oh, she's doing Taebo, she's doing this and that.
Yeah, right.
And so like, I feel like those are easily digestible cultural references that would translate to a Japanese singer. Because if you like an American band and you don't speak English, I know they all get a little bit of English like training. Like I'm sitting listening to La Vie en Rose and I'm like, it sounds good. I don't know what she's saying.
Yeah, right.
But if you're a Japanese person and they're like, oh, Mickey Mouse and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got that.
Right.
X-Files, right? Yeah. You probably really like that, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
So then why wouldn't that's what Train's whole bag?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing. That's all they do.
I had a mix that I put together for Sailor Moon when I was in like high school, and I put Drops of Jupiter in there. So
okay, all right. Yeah. Stop the show, everybody. Stop the show. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire.
That was on there too.
You can't have a whole band be raised thing. So 30 Seconds to Mars out. Life on Mars.
I did Girl from Mars, which is a song by a band called Ash.
Yeah, Ash. I won't even do the moon. There's a lot of moons.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did for Moon.
And Drops of Jupiter, probably the only song with the word Jupiter in the title.
Yep.
And then
Mercury's a hard one.
Oh, I was thinking Pluto. And Uranus, that's going to be tough.
Uranus is going to be tough.
Neptune. The Neptunes.
Okay.
Maybe we can cheat a little bit. So you do a Neptune song?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Just the Neptunes, or is Nerd okay?
I don't know.
No one ever really dies. And then what do we have? Uranus?
Yes.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Butthole Surfers? Got it. And what are we missing?
Saturn?
Saturn. Any No Doubt song? Fine.
Sure. Return from Saturn. Yeah.
So No Doubt, and then Pluto. Bjork has a song called Pluto.
Okay.
Off of her album Homogenic.
Okay.
Which is the one where she looks really weird on the cover. That's a little joke
Which
about
one?
Bjork.
Yeah.
And then Luna comes in and does a rap.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? The girls are all drinking coffee or tea at Fruits Parlor Crown.
That's it.
That's it.
Is that really it?
Yep, that's really it.
Nobody has a soda.
No.
They're eating, rocking their face. What are Three Lights? What kind of music do they do?
Pop music, I guess.
Are they supposed to be like Yellow Magic or something like that? I know that they're like young girls like them. That's that's for our show for young girls, but they're a three-piece.
Yes.
With no percussion.
Right.
And you got Yatin on piano, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Or Taiki on piano. So what are they? And he's on synths, right? He's got like the synth, all the synth boards.
Yeah.
What are they? And then they can also play with a violin if we want to get that in there.
Yeah.
What are they?
I figure they're just pop music.
10,000 Maniacs or something? Like, what is this supposed to be?
I feel like they're like a boy band who also plays instruments.
All right, let's say One Direction.
Yeah.
Do they play instruments?
I don't know if they play instruments or not.
They're like, bye, bye, bye. I know it sounds bye, bye, bye. Yeah, all right. Now we're going to bring the room down a little bit. And I'm going to go off on this zither solo.
Yeah, right.
Here's our 17-minute jazz exploration.
That'll really get the kids going.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I'm going to be beating them off with a stick.
Feeling Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The phage in this episode is Sailor Conductor. His name is Sailor Conductor, so not much to add there.
Yeah, it's just 2 jobs again.
Yep, exactly. He has yellow skin, but his face and head are bright pink. He has a navy blue sleeveless jacket with an orange and green Sailor Fuku collar. He has pointy ears and a pointy flag for hair, possibly to make his head look like a music note.
Yeah. The thing up, the little stick is called a stem, and the flag is called a flag.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. He has a white bow tie, white bandages on his arms, and white cuffs on his wrists.
Yeah, what are the bandages?
I have no idea.
Or are they supposed to be... Does he have sleeves? Or is it just his yellow arms?
Sleeves.
Is this supposed to be like his rolled up sleeves?
Maybe.
You know, you roll up your sleeves and okay, I'm Bugs Bunny, I'm going to direct the hell out of this. Conduct it.
Maybe because of all of his batons, he's like throwing them and it's hitting his arm.
That keeps him up his sleeve.
Yeah. So white bandages on his arms and white cuffs on his wrists. He has a yellow one piece on as well, and it has a red eighth note that is beamed on its chest. He has other musical notes and symbols on his legs. Okay, so now we're up to his rating. He summons conductor batons between his fingers and throws them at Sailor Moon and eventually pins her to the wall. He says, quote, and lastly, the climactic final movement. He doesn't really... He throws batons, and that's about like all that he does.
He also impersonates an electric shaver.
Yes, he vibrates.
If he went like tick tock, that would, be like a metronome.
That would make more sense.
I don't know what the buzzing is.
I don't either. And the...
No, if he stopped and shaved his mustache off when he became a monster, that would be a good place for a razor sound.
Yeah,
that's
right.
not what he does.
No.
Huh.
And his design is too much. So I'm going to give him 2 out of 5 dark stars.
Huh. Gosh, it's probably not the right answer, but I'm going to give him a 3. It's one of those things where it's so, at some point, you have made the wrong fashion choice.
Yes.
But if you just keep piling them on, then it becomes a look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The DC Cinematic Universe's Harley Quinn, for instance.
Okay.
At some point, it's like, do you need the face tattoo and the dipped ponytails and the diamond tights, ripped tights, and then the T-shirt that says "Daddy's a little monster,"
right? And
then the suspenders, and then also a baseball bat, and then stripper boots or whatever,
right? And
at some point, you're like, this girl fell through a Hot Topic, came out the other side, she's fine, and and that's kind of like, I don't know what any of this stuff has to do. I don't know why he's colors. If anything, he should. They just thought, really, what you do is, if he's a conductor like Bugs Bunny, maybe his waistcoat spins up, then he's got to push it back down.
Right.
He's in a tuxedo, right?
You're right.
Like Tar.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're not going to do that, then what about the opposite?
Yeah.
What about a Batman villain who conducts electricity? There you go. He's the conductor.
Is that why he buzzes? He's a conductor. He does electricity.
When he summons his batons, he does a little crackle of electricity, and then they show up.
That's weird.
Maybe he's got electromagnetic powers, and they are metal, and he is like shooting them like Magneto or something like that.
Okay.
But they didn't say any of that.
No, they did not.
But I can headcanon it, so I don't totally hate him, which is why I'm going for a 3, because I'm hoping he'll leave if he gets a 3.
Okay, that's fair.
Is he gone? Okay.
I do have some trivia for this episode. This episode was the first and only time where the animation for Star Sirius Laser featured the second version of the attack that included the Sailor Star yell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we got the yell.
We got the yell.
The Sailor yell.
Yes. Now we're up to our rating. I like when the Senshi are dialing to try to get tickets to the Three Lights concert. Like, they're all dialing together. I thought that was really cool looking. I like how Usagi takes the wrong bus and misses the entire concert. I like that Michiru and Seiya both sense something from each other's performances and that they have mutual appreciation for each other.
They've got musical Highlander powers.
Yes. I like that Haruka and Taiki are suspicious of each other. I like that Haruka and Michiru are distrustful of the Starlights. It's good to have some drama and stretch out. I don't know if we can work with these people or not. They seem to constantly be like that,
Yeah, it's almost like it's getting kind of old.
Yeah. But this episode feels like it has some padding and we're kind of stretching some things out here. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 roses.
Wow. Low for you.
Yeah.
Mika 2 is a regular 1. I didn't think it was that bad. And like I said, I give it 3. I like the sex farce stuff. I hope that continues. But like we said before, to a certain point, and then just leave it off. I like that I like the music part of it. Like we're told over and over again. I don't want to see them like perform every single time.
Sure.
In an episode. All right, stop the episode, everybody. The Three Lights are here.
Yeah, right.
They sing a song. A little too much, but I like the fact that we're integrating the music, and then you've got another character that's musical, and you get that all together. That works good. All right, listen. Here's the thing.
Yes.
The Outers are like, we're defending from things outside the solar system. Now, I'm not going to take a sticker, but I believe I said something to that effect.
They're outside of the solar system.
That they are not. They have Sailor Star power, but it comes from somewhere else.
That's true.
Not from the moon or the planets of our solar system. So even though they are nominally heroic and they're killing monsters, I like the idea that, and again, like we said, they do this job when they feel like it, but the Outers are the Green Lantern Corps of our solar system that are repelling threats from outer space.
Yes.
With Cosmic Sword.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I like the fact that, okay, now they choose to do it. But it causes tension. I almost think that there should have been, that we get this in the Seiya Usagi relationship, where Seiya and Usagi, or Sailor Moon and Sailor Starfighter are like, can't be friends.
Yeah, right.
And then Usagi's like, is there ever somebody you meet somebody and you like them as a friend? And Seiya's like, oh, weird, but we're friends. Yeah, we are. Meanwhile, you put their masks on and they need to kill each other.
Right.
That's a good dynamic.
Yeah, you're right.
But they kind of double down on it with, I don't know what I want to happen, like Haruka and Seiya start making out, but like they don't like each other, and then the Sailor Outer Senshi don't like the Starlights. It's like, all right, we need to complicate that beat a little more.
Yeah.
But at this point, it does add tension back in when it seems like we were just getting to know these girls and everything was going to be great. And now suddenly maybe it's not.
Yeah, right.
And in the grand tradition of do things that the audience won't like. If you keep giving the audience candy, what do you have? Fat audience. And so look at the recent Star Trek shows.
Oh my
And
gosh. So
instead you get, yay, the Outers are back. No, why are they ruining everything?
Yeah, right.
That's good tension.
No, you're right.
I'm going to keep it at a 3, but I still thought this was a pretty good episode.
Okay. Sounds good. My English title is Joint Concert Musical Flirt.
Joint custody of Usagi. Yeah, good. Look, considering the pansexual vibes in this episode, which is about classical music, I've got what I think is the perfect title, and I won't be taking any questions after. My title is Debussy is God.
Next episode, we were talking about episode number 181, Seiya to Usagi no Doki Doki Dato in Japanese, and the English translation, Seiya and Usagi's heart-pounding date.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doki doki.
Doki doki.
All right, looking forward to that in the future. Hey, audience, sorry about the comment thing. Like I said, I'll try to look into it, but if you want to keep leaving us comments on Spotify, I would appreciate that. Even if you don't leave comments on Spotify, you can still leave us a rating. And whatever platform you listen on, we'd appreciate a rating and a review from you. We'd love to hear how you think we're doing. Hey, if you like how we're doing and you want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Sailor Noob. We have... I've lost count at this point, but let's say roughly a half dozen other podcasts that you can enjoy about anime, about TV shows, and other subjects. We just recently did what I didn't think that we'd ever do, which was add one more episode to our 52-episode run for Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the live-action Sailor Moon show that ran in the aughts.
Yes.
Recently, December of last year, the 5 actresses who played the Sailor Senshi in that show got together after 20 years to talk about the show, their lives, and their 20-year-long friendship. Mm-hmm. And it was a great little episode to watch. Also some behind-the-scenes stuff from the actress Miu Sawai that plays Usagi on the show. We talked about all of that as a little addendum to our coverage of PGSN. And then, because we got a wild hair up our butts, we decided, what if we gave a little pitch for what we think a new 2024-2025 live-action series could look like?
Yeah.
The next generation, if you will. One of them has a banana clip on her face. And we're going to space with our pitch for a new live-action Sailor Moon show. You can check that out with all of our other podcasts at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Debussy is God.